Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald, and today we're going to use this old picture frame to create a floral frame. And this is just a frame I've had lying around, and all you're really needing this for is to use as a structure. So what we're going to do is we're going to coat this with Oasis, and then we can add our flowers. So what I'm going to do is going to cut my foam. And then we can see how this is going to work. So, that works fine for me. So, that means I can go twice as much. And then we can attach this. So, the best thing to do is to attach this before we soak the foam, and that will be a lot easier. So I'm just going to use like a pot tape, and we can just tape this on. Now, we don't want to be too heavy-handed. But what we'll do is we will work our way around the frame just to add our foam. Now you can get like a thin version of pot tape. Personally, I find I end up always using the big, wider one. And the reason for that is that I think it has a little bit more strength. It's a little bit more firm. And you're getting a little bit more strength with it. Now, what we'll do, we'll just trim the ends once we've got to the ends. So like this one we can just trim now, actually, is not a problem. I really like for tape to go right round and meet itself. That way is the strongest. Now, I've actually been saving tape, so I've got tape on tape here. Which is why I've got all these little bits. So we'll ignore that bit. And our little bit at the end. So you could use any kind of backing. You could make just a frame with wood, you could use an old frame, you could use polystyrene. As long as it's firm, then that's good. And the good thing with this old picture frame is that we don't have any flexing basically in the frame, which is good. So it's worth keeping in mind. So what we need to do now is we need to just give this a quick soak. Right, so what I've done is I've given this a soak over the sink, and what we don't want is to totally soak it. We want to just give it a bit of a wet, but not absolutely dripping wet. If you're going to have something that you're going to hang up, then ultimately you don't want to have something that's going to drip. Or if you do, like you're going to pre-prepare it, then do it so it's well soaked. Make sure that that's not going to be a problem stability-wise, but also give it time to just allow itself to stop dripping, basically. Because that's going to be your problem if you make it close to the time and then it's absolutely soaked with water. You're going to then struggle to stop it dripping. So the only way you can stop it dripping is to actually just give it time to do its dripping. So the flowers I'm using for this, again, we're using our nice garden dahlias. And I really love all the varieties that we've got. So I'm just cutting these quite short, popping them in on an angle. And the best thing to do is just to work in a methodical way so that we get this with the colour going throughout. So I just love these purples, and I think the purples just make a perfect complement really to our oranges and our other colours, but this one's a beautiful variety. So my idea with this was to show how easy it is to take something that we can then make into something else. So this would be ideal for maybe an event, maybe done on a bigger scale. And it's a fun way to maybe highlight a menu or a seating plan. You've got options. So let's go with the purples. I just love these. Now, I'm making this quite floral because I have got lots of dahlias at the moment. But what you might want to do is you can go for a different effect. So you could have it less floral, more foliage, more different types of greenery. You could really work it so that it doesn't have to be just flowery. But I think it depends on the situation, it depends what it's for, and it depends what you have to hand as well. So I just love the dahlias. I think they're absolutely beautiful. So we'll not worry about it. I do have some foliage in case I've not got enough. Because it's quite hard to know how many flowers when you're making something like this. And that's always an issue with creating flower designs, is trying to work out quantities. And what you can do is you can take a section like this and say, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can count the heads. And from that, you can then work out how many you need. So we're just building this up. And I'm putting the flowers in at an angle because we want them to be secure as well. And if you've got heavier flowers, you can actually use that tape that you've got. So there we've got a piece of tape. You can actually take that stem behind the tape. Now obviously this is going to take a little while to do, but it can be quite enjoyable, quite fun. You can take your time. And make sure everything is secure. Now, if you were doing a big version of this, you might want to think about using your foam as a base, but then maybe adding like a chicken wire or some sort of netting over the top to give you a little bit more security and a little bit more stability. So the netting will hold things and make you a little bit more reassured that everything's going to be good. But really, for today, this is just to have a look at how it could be, to give you some ideas and to use up all these dahlias, because it's nice that they're in the garden, but it's nice to actually see them being used. I'm just going to turn this around a little bit. So obviously we're using this idea as a frame, but this would also work really well as a ring or a wreath. This idea of just basing completely with flower. What you might want to do is just run a little bit of foliage round the edge. I must admit I like foliage, and I was having to basically stop myself from using it because I wanted this to be quite floral. And once you start adding some foliage, it's very easy to end up with something totally different. So something that becomes much more kind of boho, naturalistic, and that wasn't really what I was wanting to go for. So you can see it's beginning to build up. And this is really my first year of growing dahlias to any degree. And I must admit I'm going to get a load more different varieties and colours. I do have some nice pinks and two-tones in the garden, but I need to get some more. They've not been as good. The oranges have been brilliant. This one as well has been very good, very strong. So it's just a case of seeing what ones you like, what ones work. And then keep an eye out for some new varieties, or better still, other people's. So you can start to swap and share. So as you can see, just working around using the different colours, but spacing them out works well. There is a danger, like say the purple, you start here and you end up with more on one side than the other. So kind of being a little bit random seems a bit haphazard, but actually there's a kind of a purpose to that. Stem's too weak. This is the thing, the more you look at it, the more you start to see little gaps and little bits. That's the thing, just take your time and work through it. I was a little bit worried I wouldn't have enough flowers, but I think we're going to be good. This was also a good chance for me to go through the garden and the dahlias and just do some deadheading as well. We want a nice big one. So if you were going to make this up in advance, that's fine, but you probably want to give it a really good spray and you probably want to leave it flat. The minute you hang it up is when it will start to drip and lose water, and then it's going to have a limited life. Whereas pre-make it, leave it flat, and you'll be fine. That's a nice one, that one, but I can feel that it's got quite a slim stem. So you get the idea. What we've done is we've created a really nice flower frame, and then you just want to check that there's no little gaps on your inner edge. A little look. Yeah, perfect. We've used an old frame as a base, and we've used garden dahlias to show you how simple it can be to create a floral frame. And this is really simple. Not using foliage makes it actually a lot easier to do. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you want, and you've got a lot of flowers, then have a little go, and you can make your own selfie frame, or you can make your own floral picture frame. But thank you for watching. Click here to subscribe, and we hope to see you again soon.